All right, finally we have head coach Seb Hines. Seb, as always, another game, another week. It seems like headed to Cary, North Carolina. Just give us your initial thoughts on what you expect in that match.
The results from them has shown that it's a tough place to go and get points. They're unbeaten. They've won every game there, and we expect nothing less than a tough game. So we'll go out there. We'll give everything like we have done in every game. We want to bounce back from almost a disappointing result away at San Diego. We know we can play better than that, and so we'll be going there looking for a win.
What else?
It's kind of nice to have a disappointing feeling from a game like that where you're still undefeated on the season, but the players were still disappointed that they weren't able to take the points.
Yeah, I think that's the standards that they have set right from the start. Even from pre-season, they've been fully committed to what they've done this far, and so obviously disappointing. But I also think when you think back to where we were last year and we struggled to pick up points away from home. I know we beat them last year. It's always a tough place to go, but with the circumstances after an international break, playing on a Friday, it's always challenging. And so to walk away with a point away from home against the Shield winners, you can take a lot from that. But I think mostly our performance dropped a little bit. But yeah, we're looking to bounce back from it.
Looking at North Carolina, obviously very good at home, and it's been a tough place to play for you guys in the past. What makes North Carolina at home so difficult to play against, especially for you guys kind of looking into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the league for quite a while now, and so seeing the evolution of North Carolina, there was a period where they were so dominant and so physical, fast, and so they've kept to that culture. They've obviously changed personnel within that time, but they've stepped to that physicality, the pace of the game. I think they're more possession based now, so they put yourselves in difficult positions to feel like you can win the ball, and then couple of passes you're in defensive transition mode. We felt that last year when we went there, and so yeah, we're in a different mindset now. We're in a different season. We still have good momentum, even after the disappointment of last week, but yeah, we've got to get over that hump against North Carolina away, and there's no better place to do it than this weekend.
Emily was just talking about the difference between first and second halves that this team has had so far this season, where there hasn't been that consistency that you may have liked. What have you kind of seen from the team, and how have you kind of tried to gear the team up from first half and good performances to second halves?
I mean, if you look at it, right, we've been leading in most first halves. We've put teams under pressure. We've probably caught them off guard a couple of times. You got to remember as well, we went 8 games winning streak within that time, so it hasn't been too bad. But yeah, I think momentum can change really quickly. The first half we've been pretty dominant. We've been really aggressive. We've got up in the game, whether it's 1 goal or 2 goals, and so the behaviours of the opponent are going to change at half time. And I think that might be the way that we have to change. Making sure that we stay at that high standard that we set in the first half. Still have an objective to go and score, but it's so difficult as well because I hear a lot of people say, yeah, you got to think it's 0-0. Well, the reality is it's not 0-0. You're 2-0 up, and you've got to figure out what's risky and what's rewarding, and so that next goal is always the most important goal. And if they get it, you have to. It's a reaction. If we get it, it probably puts a lot of minds at rest after that, and so. We'll always aspire to get that next goal. It doesn't, and how you get it may vary. But listen, what the players have shown is incredible grit and determination to keep the ball out of the net as well, and make sure that we walk away with 3 points.
Coach, even though last week wasn't exactly the result that you wanted, to still get a point on the road against a team like that, how does that help going into this weekend with another strong opponent also on the road?
Yeah, and I mean, when we digest it and we look at the scenario, it's after an international break. You look at San Diego's team; they had no players missing. There's internationals everywhere, U.S. internationals, Canadian internationals, Swedish, Australian. There's a full team of international, and they're the current Shield winners as well. So that means that they're the most consistent team all of last year. And so when you look at the personnel that we were missing in that game also, it can play a part in it, but we hold ourselves to high standards. So if whoever's on the field, we have to stick to that standard, because if you want to achieve what we want to achieve, we have to go to places like San Diego and believe that we can win the game. And so we didn't achieve that, but when you reflect back to it, it's a good point away from home. And, it's almost... it's a point game for us, but 2 points lost for them.
Barbara was only played 45 minutes the last game. How has she been, just in terms of gaining back that level to where she could play?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 games where she's played 45 minutes. We felt, and you look back to the last game against Poland, we had to bring her off. It was too risky to put her on the field, and we could lose her for a substantial amount of time. So we made the decision to take her off against Portland. She was in rehab going into the San Diego game. She just got cleared to be fit for 45 minutes, and we felt that a 45-minute Barbara was going to be enough for us to try and get the points. And Barbara at 50% in the game still managed to get an assist in the game and still be threatening. And so, yeah, it's always difficult when you're in this position, because obviously you would like to have her for the full game, but that wasn't the case. We weren't able to do that. But she still made an impact in the game, and that's probably the most rewarding part of it.
Oh, yeah. So, considering you guys are at the top of the table and, the season doesn't have that much longer, is there anything you do to, keep morale high on the team?
Yeah, I think just keep the standards high as always. The players have put themselves in a terrific position to achieve what we wanted to achieve. And again, it goes down to, our identity and what team we want to be this year. They've shown that they're capable of competing with some of the best teams in this league, and with unfamiliar names as well. You can say that, going back to last week, San Diego of abundance of players who've played at the highest level, and our players are still trying to find out who they are and make a name for themselves in this league. So we can take a lot of confidence from that. But yeah, we have, you look at the table and they like where they're at. Obviously, we'd love to be number one, and there's not a lot between us and Kansas, but I think that's your motivator. I think you're professional athletes. We're competitive. We always want to go into games and win and stamp our authority on any game against any opponent. And so I think that's the motivator. I think, if you're in this industry, you want to go out there and win as many games as possible.
We will go ahead and wrap up on the Zoom. Go ahead, Rich.
Hi, Seb, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, the NWSL this season it's getting more and more exciting. We spoke about this in pre-season, the challenges now that are coming with the league. We're seeing a lot of big foreign players coming in. You signed one, obviously Barbara. We've seen Europeans, South Americans, the top African players. As a coach, is it becoming even more unpredictable, even more exciting in terms of the style is changing a little bit team to team now in terms of those players that are coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the level of coaching is higher than it ever has been as well. Teams' rosters are more competitive than they ever have been. You also got the challenges of the travel and the international breaks, and it's all those factors that you have to manage within the season. Going back to the San Diego again, we have a couple of our internationals that are away on duty, and massive respect for them playing for their national team. But then how do you manage that when they come back, and to make sure that we've got the mindset of their best interest, that they can perform at a high level consistently. But you also want to win a game of football. And so there's multiple challenges within the season this year. It's only going to get harder with the influx of better players coming into the league as well. You know, you're looking at expansion in a couple of years, so that's more travel. So I think the league is in a really, really good place. It's really competitive, and there's no league like it. You know, from the top to the bottom, on any given day, anyone can win, and that's why we're here. That we love the challenge that is set in front of us, and so we can only control what we can control, and you know, that's our players, that's our, you know, training habits, that's our culture, and so that's the thing that we're going to focus on the most.